States. We want to get right to our political panel this morning. Joining us now is the former advisor to Kamala Harris, Mike Nellis, and political editor for the Daily Signal, Bradley Devlin. To both of you, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us on this all-important day. We know right now more than 82 million people voted early in this race. How could that impact what we know tonight? Because the numbers are showing today another 80 million plus are expected to vote today. So, Mike, I want you to take this one first, and then Bradley, we'll go to you.
Yeah, we may have record-setting turnout today. If you go back to 2020, I believe it was the highest percentage of Americans voting in like over 100 years. I think you may top that today. Like, there are a lot of people on both sides who are fired up to vote. What I'm watching for today is a couple of things. One, Kamala Harris driving up her numbers with women. I think women are incredibly frustrated with Donald Trump over reproductive health and protections, the demeaning language this campaign has used. I'm watching some of the trends we're seeing in high-quality polling where Kamala Harris is on pace to outperform Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton with white men, college-educated and non-college educated. I'm watching some of the numbers we saw from Ann Seltzer over the weekend in Iowa showing that Kamala Harris has a decent advantage with seniors, which may be due to her policy to have Medicare cover long-term care. I just think there's a great opportunity, and I think it's going to be a big day for America.
Bradley, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could have record-breaking turnout. My question is that why do we keep talking about Donald Trump's problem with the women vote when Kamala Harris has an even larger problem with the male vote? And that is the vote that's going to be coming out today. So we'll see if Donald Trump can maintain his advantage with men. Now, we remember from 2020, the only demographic group where Donald Trump's support slid was actually amongst white men, specifically working class white men. Those voters are located where? Well, in the crucial swing states like you see in the Rust Belt. Obviously, there's Georgia. Obviously, there's Arizona as well. So if Donald Trump can bump his numbers up in that demographic group from 2020, he's well positioned to win. I don't think that the Iowa poll that shows Donald Trump very far underwater with seniors is real, because we've experienced the same thing in 2016 and 2020. Iowa's not in play for Kamala Harris. I don't think that the seniors are going to break at those levels for Kamala Harris whatsoever. It's just interesting to see how pollsters are saying, hey, this is a very, very tight race, but we think we might be underpolling Trump's support yet again. If that is the case, then it might be an early night, but it depends on how quickly they count the ballots in places like Maricopa County, Arizona, for example. So expecting a late night, but maybe it will be over by tomorrow morning.
Gentlemen, let's talk about endorsements. As you know, Trump received several major endorsements from some highly successful Americans. Most recently, as we all know, podcaster Joe Rogan, and then earlier from both Elon Musk and UFC owner Dana White. In fact, Dr. Phil sat down with Dana White last night to discuss why he is supporting the former president. Let's take a look at that, and we'll talk about it after.
What do you say to the people that are afraid that he's going to go on a revenge cycle and weaponize the Department of Justice and go after everybody that has said anything or done anything or prosecuted him, persecuted him?
Basically, is he going to do what they did to him?
Yeah.
Basically, is he going to do what they did to him? No. At the end of the day, Trump is a very strong, he's a strong guy. He's what you want in a president. He's not going to go after everybody. Of course he's not.
I didn't.
Okay, Bradley, so what are your thoughts on Mr. White's reasoning?
With regard to the endorsements generally, I think it really puts into a stark contrast the stakes, specifically for the media environment. Is there going to be an alternate media future, or is the corporate media going to really show that they do have the power to pick the president of the United States, that they can continue to push, positive coverage of one candidate and negative coverage of another, and for it all to pay off? I think Dana White's exactly right when he talks about the specifics of the Justice Department and other left-wing prosecutors coming down against former President Donald Trump. Let's remember, Donald Trump was in office just 4 years ago. He ran against a candidate in Hillary Clinton in 2016 who many wished would be prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Obviously, James Comey, in the final days of that race, said that they were going to decline to prosecute. There were several other issues that Trump could have gone after Clinton for. He decided not to. And so I think you'll kind of see a repeat of that, especially with Joe Biden out of the picture, potentially a Joe Biden pardon of his son in the final days of his own administration. So, you know, he said this repeatedly on the campaign trail, that success is going to be his revenge. I take the president at his word when he says that, because his actions during his time as president didn't show that he has the appetite to do that.
And Mike, quickly, your thoughts on Mr. White's reasoning?
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, all we have to go on is what Donald Trump says and what Donald Trump does. And throughout this campaign, he has repeatedly talked about getting back revenge on his political opponents. He's talked about prosecuting operatives. He's talked about prosecuting poll workers who he thinks are rigging this election against him. So if you take the president at his word, for the former president at his word for the things that he says, he's potentially going to weaponize the government to come after people. And I think that's something a lot of folks are worried about, because it's not a proper use of the government at a time when we need people fighting for the future of this country and the economy. So, like, I take him at his word that he wants to do that. And if he returns to power, that's what he's going to try to do.
All right, we're coming up to the end of our time for this, but I want to just make sure we talk about the other side. Harris also receiving some major endorsements, countless celebrities. What do these endorsements mean for her? Bradley, in terms of these endorsements, I'm going to start with you on that.
Well, first, I'd like to thank Mike for acknowledging that the Democrats going after President Donald Trump in this way for the last 3 years was an improper use of government. The second thing is, these are the type of celebrities that the American people are tired of, right? This is the Oprah Winfreys of the world. These are the Lady Gagas of the world. These people are not in touch with where the American people are. You guys said it in your last segment, right? That Donald Trump has been focusing on the middle class, working class voter in the run-up to this election, while Kamala Harris and the Democrats have been doubling down on the cultural and economic elite. And women and other college-educated voters have been following down that path. That could be a strategy to victory. But right now, with the economic problems plaguing the country and the fact that there are, frankly, more middle and lower class individuals who are gravitating towards the president than we've seen, the former president, than we've seen in a long time, I think it bodes well for Trump's chances tonight.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. We are out of time. Mike and Bradley, we appreciate your commentary this morning.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, as you know, it's been a very busy